Your person feels regret after their choice didn't turn out as expected. And it's affecting them more than you think. My beloved child, don't skip this message. Listen carefully because something has been shifting behind the scenes, and the truth is beginning to surface. Stay until the end because what you're about to hear isn't just another love story. It's about a heart that believed it had made the right decision, only to discover that reality felt completely different from what was expected. What happened next changed everything. There was a moment when your person believed walking away was the safest choice. They convinced themselves that distance would bring clarity, that silence would make their feelings disappear, and that time would erase every memory connected to you. They thought they were protecting themselves from uncertainty. They believed they could simply move forward without looking back. But life has a way of revealing truths that no amount of planning can control. At first, everything seemed fine. They stayed busy. They filled their days with work, responsibilities, and endless distractions. They smiled when people were watching and acted as though they had already closed that chapter forever. From the outside, it looked like they had no regrets. It looked like they had found exactly what they were searching for. But appearances often hide the deepest emotions. Don't skip. Listen carefully because this changes everything. The quiet moments became impossible to escape. Late at night, when the world grew silent, your memory found its way back into their thoughts. They remembered conversations they once took for granted. They replayed your laughter. They thought about the kindness you showed them when no one else noticed what they were carrying inside. Those memories refused to fade. Instead, they grew stronger with every passing day. The choice they believed would bring peace slowly became the source of their greatest questions. They started wondering what life would have looked like if they had stayed. What if fear hadn't made the decision for them? What if they had spoken honestly instead of hiding behind pride? Those questions followed them everywhere. No matter how hard they tried to silence them, the answers never came. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. Regret has a quiet voice at first. It doesn't arrive all at once. It whispers through ordinary moments. A familiar song. A place you once visited together. A random date on the calendar. Suddenly, everything reminds them of what they left behind. They realize they didn't just walk away from a person. They walked away from a connection that had changed them in ways they didn't fully appreciate until it was gone. What makes this even harder is that they never expected these feelings to return. They believed time would make everything easier. Instead, time gave them perspective. They began seeing your value through the absence you left in their life. The little things they once overlooked became the very things they missed the most. Your patience. Your encouragement. The way you understood them without needing endless explanations. Those memories now carry more weight than ever before. Listen carefully because this is where the story begins to shift. The regret they feel is not simply about losing someone. It is about realizing they made a decision before fully understanding what they truly had. That realization is changing them from the inside out. It is teaching them lessons they never wanted to learn the hard way. It is forcing them to confront parts of themselves they had avoided for far too long. Now they stand at a crossroads. One path tells them to keep pretending everything is fine. The other tells them to admit the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. Every day, the second path grows louder. Every day, the weight of unspoken words becomes heavier. They are beginning to understand that silence has a cost, and they are no longer sure they want to keep paying it. Don't leave yet. What happened next surprised even them. A small event, something that would have seemed insignificant before, suddenly opened the floodgates of emotion. In that moment, they stopped running from their regrets and finally admitted to themselves what their heart had known all along. And that was only the beginning. Because the decision they make next could change both of your lives forever. Don't skip. Listen carefully, because this is the part they never imagined they would have to face. The moment they finally admitted their regret to themselves, everything they had been trying to suppress came rushing back. It wasn't just one memory or one emotion. It was every conversation they cut short, every message they never sent, every opportunity they let slip away because they believed there would always be another chance. Now they understand that some moments don't wait forever. For days, they tried to convince themselves that these feelings would pass. They told themselves it was only nostalgia. They blamed loneliness. They searched for logical explanations, hoping they could explain away what their heart was feeling. But the more they questioned it, the clearer the truth became. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't simply missing the past. It was the painful realization that they had underestimated someone who genuinely mattered. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. There were moments when they picked up their phone, typed out a message to you, and then erased every word before pressing send. They stared at your name, wondering if too much time had passed. They imagined what they would say if they had just one honest conversation with you. But fear kept whispering that they might be too late, and that fear became the very thing holding them back. Meanwhile, life around them continued as if nothing had changed. Friends saw them smiling. Family assumed everything was fine. No one could see the quiet battle taking place inside their heart. No one knew how often your memory appeared without warning. A familiar place, a favorite song, or even a simple phrase could suddenly remind them of you, leaving them wondering how they ever convinced themselves they could simply move on. Listen carefully, because this changes everything. Regret has become their greatest teacher. It has shown them that pride can cost more than vulnerability. It has shown them that silence can create distance that honesty might have prevented. Most importantly, it has shown them that real connections are rare, and once they are taken for granted, they leave an emptiness that is difficult to replace. As these realizations grow stronger, something inside them begins to change. Instead of asking, "What if they reject me?" they begin asking, "What if I never tell them the truth?" That single question shifts their entire perspective. For the first time, they realize that living with unanswered questions may be more painful than facing an uncertain answer. Don't skip, because what happened next changed everything. One evening, while reflecting on everything that had happened, they found something that instantly brought you back into their heart. It could have been an old photo, a forgotten message, a gift, or simply a memory they thought had faded. In that moment, the walls they had spent so long building around themselves began to fall. They stopped pretending they were over it. They stopped pretending they had no regrets. They accepted the truth. And once the truth is accepted, it becomes impossible to ignore. Now they feel something they haven't felt in a very long time: hope. Not the kind of hope built on fantasy, but the quiet hope that honesty still has the power to heal what pride once damaged. They know they cannot change the past. They know they cannot erase the choices they made. But they also know that the future has not been written yet. Stay with me, because the next chapter reveals the moment they finally decide whether to remain silent forever, or gather the courage to reach out and say the words they have been carrying in their heart all this time. Don't skip. Listen carefully, because this is the moment when everything inside your person begins to change. The regret they have been carrying is no longer something they can hide behind a smile. It follows them into quiet mornings, long afternoons, and sleepless nights. They have reached a point where pretending no longer feels easier than telling the truth. Every day they remain silent, the weight on their heart grows heavier. They begin replaying the story from the very beginning. They remember the first conversation that made them smile without even realizing it. They remember the moments you believed in them when they doubted themselves. They remember the times they pulled away instead of opening up. Looking back now, they see the situation through different eyes. What once seemed ordinary now feels priceless. What they once overlooked has become the very thing they miss the most. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. For the first time, they stop blaming circumstances, timing, or other people. They accept responsibility for the choices they made. That realization is painful, but it is also freeing. The moment they stop making excuses, they finally create room for real growth. They understand that healing begins when honesty replaces denial. As the days pass, they notice something surprising. Instead of their feelings becoming weaker, they become clearer. Your absence has shown them your value in a way your presence never could. They find themselves comparing every new experience to the connection they once shared with you, and nothing quite feels the same. The laughter isn't as genuine. The conversations don't reach as deeply. The peace they were searching for never truly arrived because a part of their heart remained unfinished. Listen carefully, because this changes everything. One evening, they finally make a decision. They can no longer allow fear to control their future. Whether the outcome is what they hope for or not, they know they must stop carrying words that have remained unspoken for far too long. They begin writing a message, not to pressure you, not to rewrite history, but simply to express the truth they should have shared long ago. Every sentence is rewritten again and again. They wonder if you'll read it. They wonder if you'll understand. They wonder whether too much time has passed. But deep inside, they also know that some truths deserve to be spoken, even when the outcome is uncertain. Silence protected them for a while, but it never brought them peace. Don't skip, because what happened next surprised even them. Before sending the message, they paused for one final moment and asked themselves a question they had avoided for months: if I never tell them how I truly feel, will I regret it for the rest of my life? The answer came instantly. They already knew it. That answer gave them the courage they had been searching for all along. From that moment forward, something inside them shifted. They stopped chasing perfection. They stopped waiting for the perfect time. They realized that genuine connections are built through honesty, not flawless circumstances. Whatever happens next, they know they have chosen courage over fear, truth over pride, and hope over regret. Stay with me, because the final chapter reveals what happens after the truth is finally spoken. Does the door remain closed, or does a new beginning quietly appear when neither of you expects it? The ending is filled with healing, hope, and a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful love stories don't begin when everything is perfect, they begin when two hearts finally have the courage to be honest. Don't skip. Listen carefully, because this is the moment your person has been preparing for without even realizing it. After countless sleepless nights, after rewriting the same message over and over again, they finally stop running. Their hands tremble as they look at your name one last time. Their heart races with 1,000 questions. Will they answer? Have I waited too long? Have I already lost the person I can't stop thinking about? Those questions echo in their mind, but this time they refuse to let fear make the decision. The message is finally sent. The moment it leaves their phone, an unexpected silence fills the room. There is no way to take the words back. No way to hide behind pride anymore. They have finally spoken the truth they buried for so long. Instead of feeling panic, they feel something they haven't experienced in months: relief. For the first time, they are no longer carrying the weight of unspoken emotions alone. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. As they wait for a response, every minute feels like an hour. They replay every memory the two of you shared. They remember the moments they should have chosen understanding instead of distance, honesty instead of silence, and love instead of fear. Regret is still there, but now it is mixed with something new: hope. Hope that the truth, even if it arrives late, still has the power to heal. Meanwhile, something is changing inside them. They realize this journey was never only about finding their way back to you. It was about finding their way back to themselves. The version of them that once avoided difficult conversations has disappeared. In its place stands someone willing to accept responsibility, admit mistakes, and grow from every lesson life has placed before them. Listen carefully, because this changes everything. Whether your response comes immediately or takes time, they have already crossed the most important bridge. They chose honesty. They chose vulnerability. They chose to stop letting fear write the ending of their story. That choice alone becomes the beginning of their transformation. They understand that real love is not about controlling outcomes. It is about having the courage to speak from the heart, regardless of what happens next. Then something unexpected happens. A small sign appears just when they need it most. It could be a familiar song playing at the perfect moment, a place that reminds them of you, or a simple coincidence that feels impossible to ignore. Instead of seeing it as a promise, they take it as encouragement to keep moving forward with hope rather than regret. They begin trusting that whatever is truly meant for them will arrive at the right time. Don't skip. The greatest lesson is finally becoming clear. They no longer wish they could erase the past. Instead, they are grateful for the lessons it taught them. Those mistakes humbled them. The heartbreak softened them. The distance taught them the value of genuine connection. Without those experiences, they might never have become the person capable of loving with honesty and maturity. Now they wait, not with desperation, but with quiet faith. They know some stories require patience. Some conversations take time. Some hearts need space before they can fully hear what has been left unsaid. For the first time in a long while, they are no longer afraid of the future because they know they have finally done what their heart had been asking them to do all along. Stay with me, because the final chapter reveals whether this message becomes the beginning of a renewed connection or simply the closing of an old one. Either way, one truth remains. When regret is transformed into courage and silence is replaced by honesty, no lesson is ever wasted. Sometimes the ending you feared becomes the beginning you were always meant to find. A new beginning ****. My beloved child, don't skip this final message. Stay until the very end, because this is where every unanswered question finally finds its answer. The journey was never only about regret. It was about growth. It was about two hearts learning lessons they could not have learned any other way. Sometimes life allows distance, not to end a connection forever, but to transform the people within it. Days passed after the message was sent. Every notification made their heart race. Every moment of silence tested their patience. There were times they wondered if they had been too late. There were moments when doubt tried to convince them that nothing would ever change. But for the first time, they didn't run from those feelings. They accepted that some things cannot be rushed, and some hearts need time before they are ready to open again. Then, on a quiet day that seemed completely ordinary, everything changed. Your reply finally arrived. It wasn't filled with anger. It wasn't filled with blame. It was simple, honest, and kind. You thanked them for their honesty. You admitted that the past had been painful, but you also acknowledged that people can grow when they are willing to face the truth. In that moment, years of silence began to lose their power. Listen carefully, because this changes everything. Neither of you tried to pretend the past had never happened. Instead, you talked about it with maturity and compassion. You shared the misunderstandings, the fears, and the choices that had pulled you apart. There were tears, but they were tears of release rather than despair. Every honest conversation became another step toward healing. Every word spoken with sincerity replaced an old wound with new understanding. Slowly, trust began to return. It wasn't built through grand promises or dramatic declarations. It grew through consistency. Through showing up. Through listening. Through choosing honesty even when it felt uncomfortable. Both of you realized that the strongest relationships are not the ones that never face storms. They are the ones that survive because both people are willing to grow instead of giving up. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. One evening, as you sat together watching the sun disappear beyond the horizon, there was no need for perfect words. The silence between you no longer felt empty. It felt peaceful. It felt safe. In that quiet moment, your person realized that the greatest gift wasn't getting another chance, it was becoming someone worthy of that chance. They looked at you with gratitude instead of fear. No longer haunted by regret, they carried hope. No longer controlled by pride, they chose vulnerability. They finally understood that love is not about never making mistakes. Love is about having the courage to learn from them, to make amends, and to build something stronger than what existed before. As time passed, your connection became steadier than either of you imagined possible. The past was no longer a prison. It became a reminder of how far you had both come. The pain that once separated you became the very foundation of your strength. Every challenge had prepared you for a relationship built on trust, patience, respect, and genuine understanding. Remember this whenever life feels uncertain: the people who are willing to grow are the people capable of creating lasting love. Regret does not have to be the end of the story. When it leads to accountability, healing, and honest action, it can become the beginning of something far more meaningful than either person expected. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a relationship where honesty replaces silence, courage replaces fear, forgiveness replaces resentment, and every new day becomes another opportunity to choose each other with open hearts. Because sometimes the greatest surprise isn't that someone regrets losing you. It's that both of you become stronger, wiser, and finally ready to build the love that neither of you was prepared for before.